Are you leaking profits? So let's talk something that's hitting your margins harder than you might think. Most clinics are still pricing as they did years ago. Meanwhile, the vendors are increasing their prices whenever they can and frequently. Michelle Masacchio with Fit Money CPA, where VetMed meets smart business. And, we're here to talk about our current environment. And we're really going to be feeling this more so in quarter 3. It's when we'll start feeling it. But we've touched base on this before where the tariffs are coming. The projected increases are going to be across the board. Production of medicines, your surgical gloves, absolutely anything that you might have to order is going to have the tariffs put on them. So let's think about this and let's talk about this. That manufacturers are increasing their prices. They've just bumped them up. We've already said that. Clients are savvier. We all know we have a computer in our hand. Every time, everywhere we go, it's attached to us. So clients are probably either sitting there in your exam room, or they're going out to the car and they're checking the prices of the medicines that you're suggesting, either on Amazon, on Chewy, on some other large platform. And again, you may or may not know that they're doing this. So the larger pharmacies that are out there, obviously they're a business. They're in it to make profits. And so they're setting the expectations for this type of service. And, can they say they can get it to you next day, next week, whatever? But they are setting that baseline that the clients are looking at. And we need to kind of counteract that. So if you think about the old model for increasing prices, let's say you have something cheap, prednisone. So I'm just going to use round numbers. That way we can just calculate in our heads. So let's just say, a bottle of 60, give it twice a day, or maybe even a bottle of 90, give it TID, then that bottle, again, just throwing it out there, that bottle costs $3. Costs you $3. So obviously you want to make a profit. So let's just bump it up 100%. No problem. $6. I'm not going to think about paying you $6 for a bottle of 90 pred. But what about another procedure? I don't know. I'm trying to think of last time we had dental in the house. But let's just say you had a dental procedure and it's $200. So, and I guess actually not just necessarily the procedure, but maybe you found an abscess, maybe you have to give some type of a prescription for this pet, whatever. But let's just suppose that this medication is $200 and your flat 100% increase in prices so that you can gain a profit becomes $400. I might start balking about a $400 med. I know there's a lot of meds out there that are expensive, but 400 is kind of over the top of what I might think is reasonable. So let's think about what are some other possibilities, some other ways of pricing out the meds so that we are making a profit. And we're fair to the client too. In the service industry, which I am as well, it's a give and take. And, I, as a consumer of your services, appreciate you first off, but also know that my vet is giving me the best service and value that he possibly can. I'm okay with paying for that. Some clients don't realize the value that you guys are providing them. They think you're just taking care of their cat or their dog. But if we're going to start doing smarter pricing options, let's think about a tiered markup. So for the low cost meds, again, going back to this prednisone, go ahead and mark them up pretty high. Even $9 for a bottle of medicine, it's $9. I'm going to pay you. But for the higher cost drugs, let's drop it down a little bit. Let's not do 100%. Maybe we do 50%. Maybe we do 25%. But when we're thinking about our prices, we need to make sure that we're not only covering the cost of the meds, but our staff time. Maybe we have to keep it in the refrigerator, so we've got energy time there. And what's the cost of dispensing? So we want to keep all of those types of things in mind. And we want to make sure, we don't go underwater, because we're in business to make profit as well. So there's another opportunity. Maybe price medication in a service bundle. Vaccines. So price those in the bundle that you're offering to your clients. And then it's not really spelled out how much that vaccine is, but you're covering your costs. You're making a profit on it when you bundle that service. So possibly consider a cost matrix. So if you have your categories would be between $0 and $10, $11.50, $51 plus. So at that $0 to $10, that could be at the 100%, or maybe 110, 120. We could dive in to see what would be the best option for that. Then that amount between $11 and $50, maybe that drops down to 75. Maybe it drops down to 50. Again, we just have to look at it, make sure we're not going underwater on that, and that we are making that profit. That amount, 51 and over, again, let's use some creative ways that maybe we can encompass that into a package that we're already offering. But if we can't, maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it gets marked up 50%, maybe it gets marked up 25%. Again, we just have to look at all of the numbers so that we can make sure that we're covering our costs and making a profit. So some quick wins you can consider. Pull your report of your top 20 drugs and then calculate its actual cost. So, again, you've got the sales price. The cost is the cost of the medication, the cost of your staff, if it requires refrigeration or anything else that consumes energy, any dispensing costs. We want to track down those hard costs that we are actually using for that medication. And then we take a look at what we're selling it for. And obviously, the difference there is the margin, but is it positive or is it negative? And if it's a negative number, we just need to rework our prices. And, are there any types of underlying charges that you may need to include in this? Maybe it's a chemo drug. And so that has to be kept in a certain spot so that you guys are not exposed to it. So again, we want to get that true cost of what that medication costs. So we know we're going to get kickback, but we need a script for our staff, for you and the staff. And what we could say, just throwing this out there, we dispense this medication in-house because that way we know the dosage is right. We know that it's pure. We know that it's properly stored, and you can take it home with you right now. And if something goes wrong, we're right here. We're not going anywhere. So it's a matter of you're not just selling that pill or that amoxicillin. It's not just that. It's the value as your office. It's the value of your staff being available. It's the value of you being there. And again, in case something goes wrong, and when things go right. So project that value. It's like, yeah, we know prices went up, and this is what we're giving you in return. So we never want to race to the bottom in anything. We do not want to compete to get to the lowest common denominator. It's just not going to work. You'll run yourself ragged, and you'll go out of business because you can't meet payroll. So pop down there on the button and get on my calendar. We can talk about how we can price right and make a profit for you and keep you from running yourself ragged. And remember, you run the clinic, we run the strategies. It's dream practice, real profits. And it's prepared by the Cats and Dogs System at Fit Money CPA.